Hello everyone, so today we'll be unboxing the third piece by Prime 1 in their Marvel line, being the Venom. This is the third piece, as I said, with Anti-Venom and Spider-Man 2099 being their previous releases, though it should be said that this might well be their last piece that they'll be releasing in their Spider Universe. Due to several reasons which have elaborately been discussed already on the fora and the Facebook group, so I'm not going to go into that any further. If any one of you is interested, I'm sure you can find the reasons out yourself. As I said, third piece to be released, but I think this one came up for pre-order even before Anti-Venom. It came up for pre-order around 2 years ago, even before Sideshow's own Venom, but then was pushed back and delayed due to several reasons, one of them being that there was a key going through the Venom logo on the back, which gathered some significant negative response from fans, due to which Prime 1 took the sculpt back to the drawing board, more or less being that they decided to do not two pieces for the body, but rather they used a single piece, and that cost them at least, they say, 3 months to redesign, to repackage or redesign the packaging as well, and so on and so forth. So for the third piece, what can we say? First off, I'm not going to show the shipper this time as I did with my previous unboxings, but it's the same thing that we have seen from Prime 1 in the last couple of pieces, and actually throughout their entire run, I even think, being that they have corner protection, they have styrofoam plates on the bottom, the top, the sides. It's very thick cardboard to protect the art box. And then in this case we have an art box which is rather similar in design to Spider-Man 2099 and Anti-Venom, being that we have the logo on the front, on the back it's the same thing, the name of the character, and then on top we have the name of the character as well, same thing on the back side. And what's important to notice is that in this case we have, like with the New 52 line as well, we have the logo of Sideshow in one corner, and we have the Prime 1 logo in the other corner with the Marvel logo beneath, which is probably something we won't see again on Prime 1 pieces. I hope not, but might very well be. And here it is written, developed in partnership with Prime 1 Studio. So do keep in mind that Sideshow actually only does the distribution for this piece. They did not have a significant influence on the designing process. As for the piece itself, it is based on the comic Dark Origins of Venom, or Venom Dark Origins, one of both, I'm not sure. And some people claim that the torso is too bulky while the legs are too small, but as indicated on this picture, you can see that it's actually a direct, they took it directly out of the comic. So that being said, it's very true to the comic, but some people will hate it and some people will love it due to the way it's designed. So he is designed to have a bigger torso and smaller legs. They're not small, but they're relatively small compared to the torso anyways. It comes in 2 boxes, which means that shipping is significantly expensive on this piece. I think I paid around $240 to have it shipped to Europe. So be prepared for that. Know that it's a hefty price to get it over to you. I know that currently in the US, however, there is a deduction on shipping between $50 and $150, I think. So if you have an interest in this piece, this is the moment to get it. Alright guys, that being said, let's get to the actual unboxing of the piece, shall we? I've taken the styrofoam boxes out of the art box, and as you can see, there are 2 styrofoam boxes which are both single layered, and that's something I do wonder if it hadn't been easier for Prime 1 to just make a double layered box. Sure, it would have been bigger, but it would have been only 1 instead of 2 boxes, saving a bit of space, I think, but they'll probably have had their reasons to do it in two, I guess. As you can see, there's only one manual provided, so if you open the first box and it's not inside, then it'll probably be in the other one, don't worry. But also keep in mind that from here on out, you can find the manual also on the Sideshow website, where it is provided as so-called extra documentation. Going through the manual, we can see that firstly, they show that there are two, the removal instructions are shown with two single layers of the styrofoam boxes. As you can see, there are a whole lot of pieces to this Venom, different heads, 3 because this is the exclusive, a lot of piping for the base and different spider webbings and so on and so forth. And then there are of course all the parts of the tendrils, which I have read online can be a real pain in the ass to set up, so we'll see how that goes. Then, as I said, this piece is based on Venom Dark Origin, the comic, where you can see that this pose actually comes from the scene in the bedroom of Mary Jane. Then if we go to the back of the manual, we have the installation instructions, and there are a lot of steps to this piece, so I'll have to take my time setting this piece up. And important to also notice is this time they provided a little notification for the tendrils, being that due to the shipping and the properties of polystone, they might morph a bit in form, so they suggest you warm them up using a hair dryer if they don't fit, and you don't do what Alex did and try and force it in and just break it like he did on his Spider-Man 2099. We love you, Alex, but you can be clumsy as fuck. Alright guys, so having opened up the styrofoam, we can see that Prime 1 is sticking to the use of the black silky cloth that they usually use, rather than the use of wrapping paper, other than for the parts over there. They have used a bit of wrapping paper, and what we can see over there and over there for the spiders, which will go on the base, they used the plastic as well as they did with Cyborg to ensure that there could be no movement in the parts as to protect them. I think it might have to do with the fact of the little legs and so on and so forth, preventing them from breaking off and making sure that they're well secure in the box. So I'll get to opening up all of the cloth and laying everything out, and then we'll quickly go over the different pieces. Alright guys, so first thing when unboxing this piece, make sure you have your cleaning tools with you, because it's a bit dusty and it deserves a good dusting down to make it shine the way it should. When unboxing the base, first thing we see is the ring around the base with the webbing around it. It's the same as with the anti-venom piece, making them go for a nice pairing. But different compared to the anti-venom piece is that in this case, let me zoom in a bit, there we go. We have these little spiders that go around the base, and they go all the way around on the entire base. So it's a nice touch. Looking at the actual base itself, we have a sewer scene where we have these little pebbles at the floor in a more moisty environment, looks like, where you have these spiders worked in as well, which look really good, I have to say. There we go, that's a bit of a detail shot. So they look really nicely. There is webbing throughout the base, as you can see. And this is where I actually need a Lazy Susan, so if anyone in Raddtitan is sponsoring, feel free to think of me. But let me turn this base around for you. Also, when unboxing this base, what is important? There's a Venom Goo going around the base, so make sure that you do not grab it around the Venom Goo as seen here, because I think it might break off pretty easily. More pebbles, bit of webbing there, another spider over there, over here. Let me turn it once more around. There we go. And then we have a sewer scene. Let me turn that back just a bit. So we have a sewer scene with in between, or behind rather, another webbing, some more spiders, and then here we have the actual Venom Goo. The Venom Goo is made out of somewhat. Dark blues, black. Yeah, that's the main color it contains. It is pretty shiny, I have to say. So we'll see how it pairs up with the body. Then on the top of the base as well, we have this one little spider there. Well, little, let me hold my finger to it. It's actually the size of an actual spider, probably. So yeah, that's pretty cool, but I think my girlfriend will hate it because she hates spiders. So let's get to setting up the body on this base. Having a quick look at the body, we have the logo in the front. We have an arm without a thumb with the nails done really well, I have to say. That's a pretty cool effect. I think it's clear resin they use for the nails, but it's done really nicely. Colors, again, rather darkish black to dark blues. Yeah, darkish blacks, of course. With darker blues, I mean, of course. And then the logo is actually on top of the sculpt. So the logo is on the body. It's not just painted in, it's actually on top of the body. Definitions are done really well, and as you can see, we have this line here, yeah, there, that is where the seam used to be, and now they unified the body to be one piece, and that might also be the reason why they had to use two boxes instead of one. On the back we have the logo running down. I have a couple of small paint blemishes over here, but it's in the back, firstly, and secondly, it's a little thing, so I might get that repainted once in the future, but it's not something I'm going to complain about. Yeah, I think that's most what can be said. We have a lot of veins over the legs, but it's difficult to see probably on camera. And then as well in the neck, there is a lot of vasculature visible. Alright, let's get him put on there. So we have one peg and a foot that goes over here. There we go. Let's try and get that in smoothly. There we go. Foot sits off the base. That sits nice and flush. And then the other foot sits on the goo, nice and flush as well. Let me get that in there. So there we go. One foot with a peg over here, and then one foot that is freestanding. So don't move this piece around too much, as you might break something, I think. And then we'll get up to setting the piping on there, which you will be leaning on. So I just wanted to share this shot with you guys, as this is the box where the body used to be in. So the body used to be over here. And as you can see, all the other pieces of black cloth are actually pieces of the base. So when setting this piece up, take your time, make sure that you know which piece goes where. Don't try and rush it, because you'll need your time to get this piece set up. So the first part of the base will go underneath the foot over there. Is this bit of Venom Goo. There we go. Let's get that sharp in there. There we go. So it's this bit of Venom Goo that we have, which also has, I think, a little magnet over here, as to make sure that it stays put where it should. So let's get it on there, shall we? There we go. Yeah. And it has a soft magnet. It doesn't have that strong a pull, but it keeps it nice in place. Alright, so that's for the first part. The next part we have is the big piping on which he leans or grips. You can see the finger indentations over here, and the thumb indentation, I think, will be over here. There's also space for a magnet, which is made over here. A lot of goo around the piping again, with a couple of smaller spiders on there as well, as you can see. From what I've read, it's a bit tricky to get this piece in. So what you have to do is you have to position it first, make it slide in, which is being a pain in the ass, if I might say so. Let's see if I can get it in there without trying to damage any of the glue. Don't want to do an Alex. Sorry, bud, you know I love you, but you gotta tease you once in a while. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So you put it in, and then you slide the fingers on there, and the magnet grips it into place pretty well. So we have the fingers that grip into the piping, and then the thumb, as I expected, will come over there. As I said, make sure to be very attentive to the goo, that you don't damage it. No, that's nothing. Alright, luckily enough, it's nothing. So let me get the thumb out. So looking for the thumb, I already took the liberty to unbox all the sperms, as to make things go a bit quicker during the setting up, so that I don't have to take them out of the box. From what I've read, it's pretty difficult to get the sperms into place due to the fact that, one, they can morph due to temperature changes. Secondly, you have to take into account that there is no color coding on these sperms. What I do see is that the slots where they fit into are differently shaped, so that might be more or less helpful when looking where each piece has to go. But a bit of color coding surely wouldn't have been a bad idea. Also, one thing I should notice as well, but this is more for our friends at Sideshow rather than for you guys, is that you see this little sperm over here. Let me get that into clear image for you guys. So when you look at this little sperm, you see this part isn't supposed to be like that. This part is supposed to be like that. So I have one breakage. That's too bad, but I guess that's the law of averages. I've had a couple of good pieces come in without any breakages, any problems. So I'll be contacting Sideshow to ask them as to replace it, because, and I strongly advise this to any of you who buy a new piece and who are new to collecting, know that there are two options when you contact Sideshow with a breakage. They'll tell you you can either choose to have it replaced, or you can choose to do a buyout, being like $50 or $80, and have it repaired yourself. In my personal opinion, you pay a lot of money for one of these statues at stock dollar, and like with a new car, you don't accept that your windshield wiper is broken off or your side view mirror is broken off. It's the same with these things. You need to have them as they should have been, being that if there are any damages, don't do a buyout, rather have them send you a new piece, as I believe that if each of us starts to accept that there are breakages and we'll fix them ourselves and so on and so forth, that will in the end lead to less sufficient quality control. So that's my opinion, of course. Everyone is free to do what they want, but I'll be contacting Sideshow anyways to tell them to replace that part. That being said, let's get to setting up the tendrils, and let's see how it goes. So the first one is the thumb, and something in the thumb, and something in the leg. As you guys can see, there is nowhere any mentioning as of where these pieces are in the box, nor is there any color coding. So I'm not going to expect that this will go quickly. So the thumb first goes in the back here. Let me see. I think like this. Yep. And there's a strong magnet there, so that snaps into place neatly. That seems to be the one. Alright. So for any collectors who haven't yet put this piece together, you can use this video as a reference point perhaps. So, okay, this one will probably need some heating. I'll show you guys afterwards because there's a bit of an opening here. So I'll have to push it in, heat it, push it in, and then have it set. As we know, there are some problems with morphing of the polystone during the setting up. Then this is a big piece. Thinking it'll go here. Oh yeah. Well, lucky yes. This will need a bit of morphing as well, or some warping with heat to get the perfect fits, but it fits relatively well already, so that won't take too much to get it set. Then we have a big one. There we go. So the second big piece on the arms, two big pieces here. One really small one with a pin over here, or with a peg rather, over there. Then this one long key and one. This might go here. Yeah. So let's just hope there's not a certain order to these keys, because otherwise I'm probably screwed. Oh yeah, this wraps around the tube. Okay, so this one wraps around the piping. Goes around like that. There we go. Alright. Then we have a big one. A bit more triangular. Yeah, that's an easy one. There we go. Alright, perfect. Then let's get to the sperms. So my broken sperm goes on the back over here. Let's hope I can get it set. At least for now. Yeah, okay. So you see that this is broken, and normally this part should be on there like that. It's a bit of a bummer, but okay, I'm gonna stop whining about it. Then we have this really big sperm, which might give us an idea about how Poison Ivy is gonna look in the Hush line, because the design of the mouth and the teeth is somewhat similar to the plant that wraps around her. So I already took liberty as well, I forgot to say, to put in this tubing, which is a separate piece of the base. So just keep in mind that I already put that in. And this one I saw in a video from another collector, goes in the back, wraps around the base or the tube, and it is a bit difficult to fit in. A lot of people have problems fitting it in. So first put this one in the tube and then in the back, and then hope that it fits. We'll see. It seems to fit pretty okay. There's a bit of spacing in between the body, so I'll heat it up and then just bend it towards where it should be, but it could have been worse because a lot of people have a problem with this one being too short, if I'm not mistaken. So a couple of sperms left, we're almost there. I also strongly advise you to put this piece together somewhere not too far from where you intend to display it, which I'm currently not doing, but I am guessing that moving this piece is going to be not so much fun. Oh yeah, it might go here, I think. Is that correct? Yeah, there we go. Okay. That's pretty okay. Then I have one sperm left, a smaller one. They all seem to originate from his back. Something like this. There we go, perfect. And then we have one left. So that was pretty okay. So I think the trick is not as much to look at the manual as it is to look at the keys themselves and the shape they're formed in to give you an idea. Might be that this goes underneath. Yeah, that'll be it. And then just find the keyholes. There we go. Okay. So this one wraps underneath the sperm, so keep that in mind as well. That being said, I think I have most of the keys. I have one left. Oof, where is this one going? That's a small one with a peg. Last one is the most difficult one, I guess. I have no idea where this is supposed to go. Wouldn't have figured that one out without the manual. Oh, there it goes. So this one, this little fucker, goes in here. Yeah, so good luck figuring that out on your own. Then we have the sewage handle, which goes on there. There we go. Spin it around if you want. And then we have the... Alright. Then we have the two spiders and a bit of webbing. The webbing is the same material but thicker is what they used on the 2099 Spider-Man. You can leave it out if you want, but it's a nice touch. So you have these 4 pieces of webbing which you can add on if you want. Let's see where they go exactly. So we have a smaller one, double tick, which goes into the tube. Yeah, you can leave these out if you want. I don't think they're that necessary. There are little keys in the base, but I don't think you'd notice if you didn't put it in. This one will need a bit of bending as well. I think, oh no, okay, it's pretty okay. So you have to put the one on the bottom first and then the one in the piping. Yeah, I keep expecting to bend more than I have to do actually. So that's nice, I guess. So this one in here and over here. This might be the other way around, I don't know. Nope. Yeah, okay, you have to fiddle it around a little bit to get it in there. There we go. Okay. So do be careful with these pieces because I know this has a tendency to break. Also, when you move the piece, it might be best to first take them off because it wouldn't surprise me if this breaks off at all. This has to go somewhere over here, I think. Oh yeah, there we go. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And then the last one. Alright guys, so looking for where the webbing had to go. It's here on the back of this piece of piping. So I'll show you afterwards in a picture, but I had to search for it for a bit. I already took out the heads as well as the two spiders, so they provide you with 2 additional spiders to go on the base because there aren't any on there. Yeah? So we have the first one. They're pretty big. And they're pretty well done. Also on the base or on the bottom side, they did provide some form of the arachnids as you would expect them to be in real life. And then you have another one. They're not identical to each other, so there's a bit of difference in between the spiders. What is important is that the feet are very prone to breakages, so do keep that in mind. when setting these up. And then you have to check it's not really clear based on the manual which one goes where. But what can help is when you look at the key over here, let's see like that, then there's a bit of a sloping corner, and that corner can tell you where which spider has to go. So the one with the less open legs, with the legs a bit more bent, I think goes here. Yeah. Let's put it under softly. I think, let me double check with the manual, because the key does show a bit. Nope, so it's facing downwards. Yeah, it actually is this one. I'm not really sure if the key is supposed to show that much. Oh yeah, you can gently push it in. Don't try and do it too quickly though, because then it'll undoubtedly break. And I think I might have to bend the legs a little bit. Okay guys, so I thought I'd give you guys an image of what it looks like completely set up and go over a couple of details. I've attached the McFarlane head. So we have a very busy piece with all the goo and the spurns going around. As we said, on the base we have one of these spiders. There we go. And then the other spider is all the way to the back, coming upwards. There we go. And it leans onto the Venom Goo, which is attached to the foot. We have these webbings throughout the piece, and which also come back into the base and the rocks of the base. A couple of the tendrils still need a bit of fixing to be attached just a tad better. I do like the effect that they used on the nails as well, with the tubing which he grips into, and then there's a sort of watery effect on here as to give you the impression that it's actually in a sewer. This sperm also is very convincing, very nicely done. The other ones as well. I do still have to fix a little gap over there, but with a bit of heating normally that should be okay. There we go guys. So that is my unboxing of the Prime 1 Venom. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Bye bye. For the first part, there's a little gap over here between the foot and the Venom Goo. From a distance it's not that visible, but let me zoom in on that. Yeah, fuck that. Alex, remove this little bit.